Welcome back. Our woman crush today is a face you may or may not have seen before on television. Bertha Tobias can only be described as a young, ambitious woman who seems to have a knack for reinventing herself. And she now joins us to tell us how, why, and more. Bertha, good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup.
Hi, Nina. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Bertha, just to start with, I don't know if it would be fair to say that, many of those who may know you would recognize you as an activist and perhaps a member of, the youth whose voice is quite prominent within the political, platforms and sectors and so on. Would that be a fair assessment?
It would be a valid assessment, but it would be incomplete as an assessment because
Right.
I think, like you said earlier, I do have a knack for reinventing myself constantly. I think the reason I'm not crazy about being referred to as an activist is because one, I'm young, like I'm 22 years old. I have so many things that I still have to try out. So I'm constantly throwing different things at the wall and seeing what sticks with me.
Yeah.
And also I think activism has a connotation with being affiliated with a specific cause. And I find that I care about different things on different days.
Yeah.
So I think it's a valid assessment to be referred to as an activist,
But
I think it's incomplete.
So complete that statement for us.
Wow, that's a great question. Well, student, I take that very seriously, very passionate about education and tapping into my educational opportunities. Entrepreneurship, which we're going to talk about a little bit later with my show. Entrepreneurship, education, now energy, just because that's what it seems like Namibia needs. So that's something I'm also thinking about a lot. So I think the more precise description is just like a slightly confused 22-year-old who's figuring it out and doing her best every day.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this reinvention that you've becoming so good at doing, and you've now morphed into television as well, into broadcasting, and talk to us about that. You've got your own television show.
I do.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so with there's a lot that went on with that television show. I learned a lot about myself, but really it was born out of an understanding that there's so many beautiful stories to tell about Namibian young people. So going to school, I finished high school in China and now I'm doing my undergrad in the US, and I'm surrounded by all of these brilliant, amazing young people who are absolutely crushing it, doing great things, building their countries. And I thought to myself, why can't we do that? Why don't we have more positive stories about young Namibians? And the reason it was important for me to do something about that question was because I think you can't contribute positively to something if you don't view yourself positively. I think you need a positive conception of self in order to contribute to building the Namibian house. So I thought to myself, well, I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm always following entrepreneurs in Namibia. So I thought I have so many questions for them, how they did it, how they can inspire other people to do it. So I got funding from my school, proposed it, and they funded it. Came to NBC, knocked on lots of doors, annoyed lots of people with endless emails and endless calls. But NBC gave me a chance. So now we air it, and I'm having a great time and learning a lot.
That's fantastic. And how's it been going so far? I understand you're doing it in seasons. And
Yes,
so
we're
how's
doing
that
it in
process
seasons.
going? And what's the reception been like to the program?
So it's actually very interesting because the very first episode of the program premiered on the 18th, about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. And I was at school, so I haven't seen a single episode in live time, just because I can't. And by the time I got here, it's like I just haven't been able to see it. So honestly, I don't have a great knack of what the reception is. I do have the only way I have to gauge is a lot of great feedback, a lot of questions about where people can view it online, whether there'll be other episodes. So that's been very exciting. And we're going into production for the second season in June. So that's also really cool.
And how are you juggling that, the schedule with these seasons and production, etc., and living in between Namibia and the USA?
How am I juggling it? I have to sleep at like 2 a.m. every night. That's how I have to juggle it. But I'm really finding that on a very serious note, I wouldn't have been able to do it without a strong, supportive community around me. So at school, I'm surrounded by amazing people who understand that I have a passion for Namibia and a love for Namibia that splits me almost in two ways. So I'm very committed to school. It's very important to me to take advantage of that opportunity. But I sort of spend my days doing school and then spend my nights conceptualizing Spotlight and my TV show. But I think it's very important important for me to mention also that the production company I'm working with, Red Hot Film Productions, owned by Marinda Stein, has just been absolutely amazing. I mean, from the execution of the vision that I had, the set design, the sound engineers, the light engineers, because I'm not like a media studies student. I don't know how to work a video camera. But I think if it wasn't for Marinda and her belief in me, I would not have been able to make a show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And where can they watch Spotlight? Where can they catch it? If they don't see it on NBC, where can they watch the episodes as a follow-up, etc.?
So right now, they can only see it on NBC. So you're going to have to tune into NBC every Saturday at 7 p.m. and then Thursdays at 11 a.m.
Awesome.
For the second season, there'll definitely be new details about broadcasting, etc. and distribution channels. And then that will also be available on our social media pages.
We're unfortunately out of time, but I want to know what is next for Bertha Tobias.
What is next? So like I mentioned, a confused 22-year-old kind of figuring it out. But what is next will probably be going to do my master's somewhere in the US or in the UK. Or if Spotlight goes well, maybe keep pursuing a career in television, or maybe get a job, maybe go into business, who knows? We'll just have to keep watching to find out.
Keep up with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and all the best with all of your endeavors, your studies and this new program. And I know the television bag, once it's gotten you, it's there to stay. So you're definitely going to be on this train for quite a while.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.